This video was brought to you by Patreon. For bonus videos, polls, and options to commission your own topic, you can find more information in the links below. So a question I get a lot is, how do I have the time and money to read so many books in a year? This year, I have read officially 52 books and listened to 31, and have paid about $500 for all of that combined. And yet I have taken home more than 250 books. How can I afford all of this, and how do I have the time? I have the time because I have social anxiety at work and read on my lunch break. And also that's what I do to relax at the end of the day instead of watching a show. But right now on TikTok, I think I've recommended roughly 40 books for this year, sharing my opinion on how close they were to Bloodborne and whether or not I thought they were good. But the thing I always forget to keep in mind when I think about recommending a book is that people have, time and money restrictions. But if you're strapped for cash, you have options to access these books without breaking the bank. So here's how I afford everything I read in a year. Number one, audio subscriptions. So Spotify Premium recently added a feature that when you pay for it, you get 7 hours of listening to an audiobook per month. That was installed sometime early this year, and I got to listen to Shadow of the Gods, Howls from the Dark Ages, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and this cute little cyberpunk saga. I also have Audible, which costs about $15 a month and gives you 1 credit for every month when you pay for that plan. And I split this with my mom, which means a lot of the credits go to Isabella Allende titles. But then we have something that I got lucky enough to have, which is that people sent me some books for free. That's how I got access to some of my favorite reads of the year. The Book of Elsewhere came from a free promo package. Hollow and the Haunted, Thief in the Wild, Cradle of Eternal Night, The Fealty of Monsters, The Narrows, All the Hearts You Eat, Cold Snap, Coup de Grace, and Living in Cemeteries were all really kindly offered to me this year. I got really lucky on that, but we won't really add this to the book list that I was allowed to read, and we won't actually count that in the tally of how much I spent. But I also bought books, but now that I'm checking my account, I realize I haven't really picked up anything since December of last year. Usually when I bought books, I got them secondhand, and when I didn't get them from my local bookstore, which has this really cool used section, where I picked up the entirety of the Song of Ice and Fire for $3 a book and got the box set of Lord of the Rings for like $10. There were also online stores like Thrift Books and Better World Books, which are the two that I prefer, but you can also go to places like eBay or Alibris. I'll put more options of online bookstores in the descriptions, and these are the ones that, support your local bookstores if you buy off of them. Bloom was my most expensive purchase because I got it from my local bookstore and it was new. At the end of the day, $500 is still, a decent amount of money, and that's saying that I'm paying the full cost of the descriptions. But I told you earlier that I had access to like 250 books, more honestly, and I read at least the first couple pages of those before I put them down, not really wanting to contribute more of my time to them. So how did I get access to all of those books but didn't really spend any more money? Well, taxes. This is a reminder to you to go and get your library card. So I read from the first page to like maybe 2 or 3 chapters in for 250 books, but I didn't have to spend money on them. Because when you rent books from your library or request your library to stock a certain book, they're paying for it, and that supports the authors. And these aren't like obscure books, these are the popular ones, and they come out relatively close to whenever the actual book itself gets shelved. If you've been creeping around Book Talk and despaired thinking that you've run out of money and you can't pay for the books that everyone's showing off, you can just go to your library, unless the whole point of why you're there is because you want to collect the books. That's a totally different thing. This is just a reminder that you have this whole well of resources that are eager to give you what you've already purchased. Libraries now have full databases that are accessible on certain apps such as Libby, and when you go down there to ask for your library card, it's free to you. But let's say your library doesn't really have that extensive a selection. You're not out of luck. I'm going to link 9th Street Books' incredible page that tells you which libraries allow for out-of-state cards and how to apply and the cost. And that cost is roughly $40 to $100 per year. And I promise you, if you get a library card, you'll find that that cost is well worth it once you regret purchasing 1 to 2 mid books. So this is just a reminder to you that the library isn't free, you've just already paid for it. So happy reading for 2025 and support your local libraries.